So most of us have played some multiplayer game in the past. Now whether it's rushing B in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, trying to be the last one standing in Fortnite, or even attacking other players in a game like Clash of Clans, we've all been in touch with some video game in the past. So in today's video I want to talk to you about why I stopped playing multiplayer games in the last couple of years, even though being a big fan of them beforehand. So my first real multiplayer game that I played was the legendary Age of Conan Unchained. And at that time I was still a young kid. It was very weird for me playing with people that were living hundreds and thousands of kilometers away from me. But I immediately got hooked on the game and even started to build sort of friendships with other players where we would meet up in the game at a specific time. And those times were great. And doing quests together and trying to beat an enemy that is way above your level with other players was so much fun that I didn't play another game for months. And in 2015-16 I started a huge journey on playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. To this day I have several thousands of hours in it, and for a long time, I kid you not, my dream was to become an esports player, like for a lot of you guys listening I can imagine. And same thing here, over the years I was part of great squads who tried to become better every day and improve and help one another all the time. But this changed a couple of years ago. I noticed that I wasn't having as much fun anymore with online games as I was in single player games. And slowly but surely I started abandoning the games that I had so much fun with over the years, because I saw that my experience was way different, and I started going more into offline single player games because I suddenly started to have more fun with them. But now why is that? Now I thought about this a lot over the last couple of days, and I found several points why multiplayer games aren't as fun as they used to be. Now the first one, and probably the biggest one, is the toxicity in online multiplayer games. Now I have to say, there has always been toxicity. Now I probably know more Russian curse words than I know English words, because of the years I spent in Counter-Strike. But still, a couple of years ago, it was not as near as bad as it is today. Unfortunately, the toxic behavior today in modern online video games is so much greater. The griefing and trolling and harassment is way more noticeable than it is back then. Even in the ranked modes that people should only play if they really want to take it seriously and really want to win the game. You have so many players that quit the game mid-match and are not trying to win the game, but are only trying to get the most amount of frags within the team. Now I didn't play Counter-Strike Go for over 1 year, but 2 weeks ago I downloaded it again and went into some matchmakings and found that in every single matchmaking there was some kind of harassment and some kind of swearing towards another team player. But what I noticed even more is every third or fourth game people were quitting even though only a couple of rounds have been played. Now my theory why that is because of our beautiful virus that we had to deal with over the past years that changed a lot of things, and unfortunately also the toxicity. Now before that, I remember that after school and after my sport I would hop on the computer and play with other people who also had kind of productive days. They have been somewhere. But during Corona, a lot of us didn't even have the chance to go outside, let alone speak with other people. And we obviously know that the pandemic put a big stench on the mental health of people, and so I think that the toxicity also rose because of this. And that's also the second point why I quit multiplayer games. It is that I started to see that my mental health was getting worse and worse. Now during that time of 2019-2020, I was kind of my self-improvement journey. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking, I was trying to eat a clean diet and being productive in the gym and doing good habits. But gaming was just a passion of mine for so long, so I told myself, okay, that's the one habit that I'm gonna leave there. But after a couple of weeks I realized that it doesn't make any sense to delete Instagram or TikTok when you have some crazy guy that's calling you names for minutes during a game. Prior to that, when I was playing with a full squad, after the gaming sessions, I would kind of feel good. I was in a good mood, I was feeling happy. But all the toxicity and all the harassment happening within the teams kind of left me angry and even depressed at sometimes after my gaming sessions. And a couple of times I started playing single player games, like I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey in that time also, and I realized how much better I was feeling after playing those games compared to multiplayer games. I also found out very quickly that multiplayer games are way more addictive than single player games. You always think about them and when you're going to play the next time. Now another point is obviously the lack of innovation nowadays. I feel that a lot of multiplayer games have kind of become a formula and they don't offer enough new or interesting gameplay mechanics. And after some time, it obviously makes the game feel stale and repetitive, like we saw with the Battle Royales, for example. Like Fortnite in 2017-18 had such a boom that everyone was playing it, everybody was knowing the dance moves, and even 40-50-year-olds knew about the game. But after some time, without good and new improvements, or even worse, with improvements that are worsening the game, obviously the players will start to leave the game and try to find something new. And now the last point that I want to talk to you all about today is the unbalanced gameplay within ranks. Like, if you have played CSGO in the last couple of years, you will realize how crazily unbalanced some ranked games are. Like, after the game, you always see the ranks of your teammates and the ranks of the other team, and so often it ranges from total beginner to the best rank you have in the game. And I mean, how is someone new and has a couple of dozen hours in the game, how in hell would he be able to compete with a global elite guy with several thousands of hours in a matchmaking? If you're being demolished every game and every matchmaking, obviously after some time you will quit the game, because the fun and the flow state won't be there anymore. The same thing with the newest Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I played the game for a couple dozens of hours, and a lot of times my team and I were ranked against guys that were 2-3 rank groups above us. And you know, that simply takes out the competitiveness, because they have such a huge edge and have so much more experience and training in the game. And I very quickly realized that in single player games I don't have all those problems. Obviously sometimes the games might also feel repetitive. But even now, when I'm looking back in the last couple of years, and maybe this is because I'm not 15 anymore, I had way much more fun playing single player games like Assassin's Creed, like The Witcher, or like Far Cry, games that I'll also talk about on this channel, than multiplayer games like those I just spoke about. But obviously this is only my view, and maybe, and I really hope that, some players are having a completely different experience nowadays, and are experiencing a healthy and competitive environment within the games. Alright guys, that was it from me in today's video. Those are the reasons why I prefer single player games over multiplayer games nowadays. If you like the video and the content that I make, you can like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.